Well, good morning and welcome to City Hall Plaza. And it's nice as the new Bloom Room is. It's good to be outside. The new Blue Room, I looked at it the other day. You'll be happy, those members of the Fourth Estate. It will change your views on how the city's doing, improve your self-esteem, confidence in the economics of the news business going forward. Everything good. Now, we do have colors. Spring flowers aren't the only thing showing new colors, nor is just the Blue Room. We have the yellow taxi of tomorrow, the borough taxi decked out in apple green, and now the new blue city bike. Applause, smiles. It is the centerpiece of New York City's new bike share program, which will be launched this summer. And today I am pleased to announce that a great New York business, Citigroup, will be sponsoring Citi Bike, committing $41 million over 5 years to New York City's newest transit option. The idea behind bike share is simple. It gives people one more ways to get around town faster, and when they get around, they can use their MasterCard, another one of the sponsors today. As you know, we have the best subway system in the world and the most extensive bus network. But subways and buses don't always go where you want to go, and that can mean a long walk or a taxi ride. And now New Yorkers will have another option: hop on a Citi Bike. For a $95 annual membership, less than the cost of one monthly Metro card, Citi Bike users can get an unlimited number of 45-minute rides to and from any bike share station. And that will give our city an entirely new 24/7 transportation network that will help extend connectivity from subway stops, making places like our growing number of waterfront communities easier and faster to get to. We'll deploy the first Citi Bikes at the end of July in parts of Manhattan and Brooklyn, and by the end of spring 2013, New York will have 10,000 Citi Bikes and 600 stations just like the model that you see here. And that will make Citi Bike the biggest bike share program in the country and one of the biggest in the world. Now, I know you are all wondering, how much is Citi Bike costing taxpayers? I'm glad you asked that question. Thanks to a public-private partnership, Citi Bike won't require any city or federal tax subsidy to operate the system. I think that bears repeating. We are getting an entirely new transportation network without spending any taxpayer money. Who thought that could be done? Citigroup, the lead sponsor of Citibank, has been a great New York institution for 200 years. So they knew that it could be done, and their $41 million 5-year commitment is making the Citi Bike program a reality. Citi employs thousands of New Yorkers and supports tens of thousands of New York City businesses. Their sponsorship of Citi Bike is just the latest example of their dedication to their hometown. Now, in addition to Citi's generous support, MasterCard has committed $6.5 million, bringing us to our goal of building this new transportation network without using any taxpayer money. And because it's 100% privately funded, Citibank could actually make a profit, which the city will split with Alta, the company we selected to build the system. In addition to giving New Yorkers more options for getting around, Citi Bike will also help us meet another critical goal: putting more New Yorkers back to work. Citi Bikes and the stations that hold them will be assembled right here in New York City, starting at the Brooklyn Navy Yard and moving to another space as the program grows. And that will create 200 new jobs, from assembly to maintenance to customer service and more. In addition to expanding our transit network and creating jobs, Citi Bike will also help us achieve a third goal, and that is making our streets safer. Our Department of Transportation, led by Commissioner Sadik-Khan, has helped us bring traffic fatalities down 40% since 2001 to the lowest levels on record. And we started keeping records something like in 1916. We've done it not despite the fact that the number of cyclists quadrupled over the past decade. We've done it because of that fact. Bike lanes and protected bike paths are making our streets safer for everyone: pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists. The Citibank program will have all the essential safety features cyclists and drivers need, and that means a sturdy frame, a bell, front lights, and tail light. It also means education from a guide to the rules of the road printed on Citibank handlebars to helmet giveaways and discounts. And later this week, we'll release maps showing where the bike share stations will go. We are still in the process of consulting with communities who have been very supportive of the idea and very helpful about where to place the stations. From the very beginning of this process, we have made it a top priority to get as much community input as possible. We've invited New Yorkers to ask questions, make suggestions, choose where stations will be placed, see prototype bikes, and kick the tires. We've held nearly 250 total meetings with elected officials, cultural institutions, city agencies, and community and business groups. 87 of those were public meetings, which we encourage all New Yorkers to attend. It is the most extensive outreach effort we've ever done for a transportation project, and I think it's a great example of crowdsourcing for the public good. After the launch of Citibank, Citibike, I always say the same thing, we'll continue to seek feedback from New Yorkers, including on the placement of stations. And if a particular place just doesn't work out in the end, the station is designed to be easily moved without any demolition or construction. Moving this idea from concept to reality and getting communities and sponsors on board took plenty of hard work, you should know. And to give us more details on the Citibike program, let me introduce the driving force, if you like the pun, behind it, Transportation Commissioner Jeanette Sadik-Khan. Jeanette?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And welcome to Citibike, New York's newest way to get around town. It's as easy as swiping a Metro card. It is as easy as hailing a cab. And in less than 3 months, these new sleek Citibikes will be the new tap-and-go option to get around town. And at $95 a year, at $25 a week, or at $10 a day for unlimited 30-minute rides. Year. It's the best deal in town short of the Staten Island Ferry. Bike share, as the mayor noted, extends the reach of our subway, bus, and ferry network by providing a fast and easy connection from your door in your corner to a subway stop or a bus stop or a ferry stop. And in other cities with bike share, 50% of the trips are to or from a transit station. So we think it's going to be a natural fit with New York City. It's also a great fit for our geography. Over half of the trips in New York City are under 2 miles, and we're essentially flat. So it's a great way to get around town quickly. The stations that you see here will be solar powered and wireless, so they're easy to install and they're easy to move if necessary. And it's really important to note that New Yorkers selected these bike station sites. Since September, when we announced our partnership with Alta some 8 months ago, we've had over 250 meetings with community boards, with elected officials, with business owners, with merchant groups, and everybody so that they could kick the tires, check out the stations, learn about the system, and tell us where they wanted these stations to go. We also crowdsourced the station suggestions and had over 10,000 suggestions on our website. And I think it's important to note that as with everything that we do at New York City DOT, our priority is on safety. And our streets have gotten safer even as the number of cyclists on our streets has increased by 4-fold over the last 10 years. But we're going to be stepping up our efforts in every arena with every single bike share bike will actually have safety messages on the handlebars. We're also going to be launching an unprecedented public safety education campaign later this spring. And we're going to be providing system users, bike system users, with discounted coupons to purchase helmets, in addition to the free helmets that we pass out. We've passed out, I think, 50,000 since 2007. And with this summer launch right in sight, we're going to continue to work with our local partners, our fabulous sponsors, Citibank and MasterCard, who have been so terrific. The teams have been amazing to work with. And we're working with Alta to bring a world-class bike share system to a world-class city. And you can find out more about the program by going to citybikenyc.com for more info. I also really want to thank the team at New York City DOT who worked endless hours over the last 2 years to deliver this program, particularly John Orcott, Kate Filligne, Phil Damashek, and his legal team. And we had some key support from major city agencies. I really want to call out Michael Dardia, George Fertitta, and Claire Newman. They're great people working on a great project with great sponsors, and all thanks to the vision of a great mayor. Thank you.
Jeanette, thank you. Now, the person who I have the pleasure of introducing next hopes that everyone does exactly the same thing I did 4 or 5 times. Confuses Citibank with Citibank. That is very good for Citibank's business and presumably the reason why they are the sponsor of this, and I certainly hope it works because it has allowed the public to get a new form of transportation system without any public monies. The person who really made this possible is making a great investment in the people and businesses of our city, the CEO of Citigroup, Vikram Pandit.
Thank you, Mayor Bloomberg, and thank you, Commissioner Sadik-Khan. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you to introduce the Citi Bike program. Citi was founded 200 years ago, not too far from here on Wall Street, and ever since then, New York City's been our home. And we've been proud of that fact, and we've been proud of the city. As a matter of fact, without New York's talent base, its infrastructure, its connections to all points of the globe, we could not do what we do, and we certainly couldn't have done it for as long as we've been doing it. Today we've got about 25,000 people working all over the 5 boroughs in New York City. We've got 1.5 million clients, 67,000 of them are small businesses. So we look for every opportunity we can to work with the city. Now the Citibank Citi Bike program is an innovative program. It's a new transportation option. When completed, it'll be the largest one of its kind in the country with about 10,000 bikes, 600 stations, and as the mayor said, all of this without using any taxpayer money. Citi Bike is kind of like the zip car for bikes. It's better for the environment. It's also good exercise, and people will be able to borrow a Citi Bike, ride it wherever they want to go, and return it at their destination. This should lead to fewer cars on the road. It should lead to less crowding on subways and buses and better access to neighborhood far from public transit. And as a company that has reduced its carbon footprint by over 13% in the last 5 years, we're happy to do our part to make New York more sustainable as well. People will get good value for their money, a high-quality, heavy-duty bike that they can take at a moment's notice from hundreds of locations around the city. Best of all, as you know, the city never sleeps, and so bikes will be available 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. This effort builds on a long partnership we've had with the city, from financing one of New York City's first gas and light utilities in 1833 to our recent work with the Department of Small Business Services to help entrepreneurs succeed, and of course to financing the rebuilding of the World Trade Center. Citi has always been committed to the progress in the New York City area. The bicycle and Citi are just about the same age. We were founded in 1812, and the first bikes hit the road about 5 years later. So we're just 2 old-timers teaming up with an innovative business model to keep New York City moving. Thank you all.
Vikram, thank you. I'm also proud to have with us the head of Citi Bike's second major sponsor, MasterCard CEO, AJ Banga. AJ?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And you heard Vikram say something about partnerships of 2 old-timers. It's pretty interesting that you have 2 Indians getting bicycles going in this fabulous city. Right? So thank you all for the opportunity, and thank you for the honor of being a part of this group. You know, I live in the best city in the world. I'm a resident of New York City. My wife and kids love this city. I think it's appropriate that my company, MasterCard, has an opportunity to invest back in the city in what we call Priceless New York. We've been promoting things about New York to people who live here and outside of the city, from with partnership with NYC and Company to the Jets, the Giants, the Yankees, AOL Time Warner Center, Saks, the New Yorker magazine. We've got partnerships going with all of them. To me, the bike share program is just another way to keep continuing that priceless New York feeling. And so we're glad to be a part of it and glad to have an opportunity with our partner for a long time, as in Vikram Pandit and Citibank, to be a part of this city effort. So thank you all once again, and good luck, sir. Thank you.
AJ, thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Alta, which has done a great job designing and building Citi Bike. And I would be remiss not to thank others in city government who are making Citi Bike a reality. Deputy Mayors Bob Steele, Howard Wolfson, and the Economic Development Corporation and the Office of Management and Budget, who offered help and consultation to DOT in negotiating this partnership. Finally, I would like to acknowledge all the community members and local leaders who have shaped and will continue to shape the Citi Bike program. Thank you for helping write a new chapter in the way New Yorkers get around town. And before we take questions, let me just summarize today's announcement for our Spanish-speaking New Yorkers. En julio comenzaremos instalar Citibank, la red de bicicletas compartidas más grande del país. Hoy anunciamos que la empresa Citigroup ha contribuido $41 millones y MasterCard ha contribuido $6 millones para financiar el programa sin ningún gastos de dinero público. La red de bicicletas fue desarrollada tras pedir opiniones y comentarios de los neoyorquinos. And with that, we'll take questions on topic, and then we're going to take a brief break, and then